Welcome back to our 6K Sports Sedan Challenge presented by Continental Tire. Another contender has entered the ring. That's right, everybody. The 6K Sports Sedan Challenge is now turned into one sedan and one wagon, because if you haven't guessed it already, I'm going to take the drivetrain out of the sedan and swap it into this, which is a 99 540i E39 touring wagon.
Hold on though, Pete, hold on. This is called the Sports Sedan Challenge, not the Sport Wagon Challenge. I mean, I admit I brought a luxury sedan to a sports sedan challenge, but now you're really changing the rules.
This is essentially a sedan, just a little bit more extra space in the rear. It's the same thing, really. Come on, you gotta give it to me. It's still a car, just with a little bit more space. It's the coolest thing. Every enthusiast wants to have a cool wagon, and that's what I wanted.
I agree, but there's also this budget issue where we said we weren't gonna spend more than 6K.
I didn't spend a penny on this car this year. When we set this challenge out, I went and spent all my money there. I've had this car sitting in the back corner of this shop and the previous shop for almost 5 years, waiting patiently. And finally now here it is. And to be fair, you could just call this a modification that I'm adding on, because this car I purchased in California for $1,200. It was a part of like that tax credit system where you can donate your car and the state will give you money towards your taxes or something like that. And this one was there. I saw it, I was like, wow, it's not actually in bad shape. And best of all, it has zero rust, which is what I've always wanted in a vehicle. So this car is gonna be an easy piece of equipment to work on. But before we get down to that, I think what we need to do is remove the motor out of this guy. I know what some of you are thinking, why are you taking a perfectly good M5 and you're gonna pull the guts out of it? Remember, this car is a salvage title and it is higher mileage. It's not gonna be worth anything of collector value, so I think I'm justified to do this, and I think it's gonna be super cool to have it in that touring, and it should be a straightforward swap mechanically. I know this is going to just bolt right into that car without too many issues. The wiring is something that I'm not familiar with, so maybe if you guys have any expert advice or have tips, or you're in the area and want to come help out, if you're a BMW expert, by all means let me know. I would love to have some expertise on the wiring of this into the wagon.
Before we pull this big old hunk of German goodness out of here, we are going to send an oil sample to Blackstone Laboratories. If you guys aren't familiar with them, no, they are not a paramilitary group that overthrows governments. They are an oil analysis company, and you send them a sample of oil and they will do a full analysis on it and email you back the results, which will tell you a lot of interesting things. In our case, we really want to know how much metal content is in the oil, because these motors are known to have bearing wear issues. We're hoping to find out what kind of condition the bearings are in based on an oil analysis. So that's really why we're doing it. They do recommend not taking the first or the last drop out, so we're going to just sort of let some drain out. Then I'll fill up the little container that comes in here. It goes inside this for shipping, and you can see it's got a little like moisture barrier in there. They've thought of everything. Pete's been working under the theory that this car was well loved, owned by an enthusiast, and well cared for, and we're about to find out how true that story really is, because I got a feeling this oil is going to be pretty nasty. But I hope I'm wrong. I don't want you to fail, Pete. I don't want you to have bought the wrong car. I just know that my car is going to be better anyway, so it doesn't really even matter what you bought.
Yours is going to require less maintenance, let's just say that. And you know what, DP? That doesn't look bad.
It's black, but it's not like terrible. So.
No, that does not look bad at all.
All right, I'm gonna just splash this in here.
It's like a urine sample. There you go.
Look at that.
Filled it to the brim.
NBA drug test style there.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not like it's super dirty. So.
No, it's not horrific.
pause in the wrenching action to show you guys where we're at. Man, the front end of this car came apart very easily. As you guys saw, it's just like layer upon layer, taking stuff off until you get here. And looking at this engine, I've noticed a couple of small little things. There is certainly an oil leak from the valve covers. There is a bunch of oil running down on this side and a bunch of oil running down on that side, and a bunch of oil here, so a main seal may be leaking. So that may be a couple of things to address, but otherwise everything looks to be in remarkably good shape. You can see the fan has been recently replaced, so it looks like items that have been failing have been replaced with good quality OEM BMW stuff, which is really, really nice. You guys may have noticed we are wearing our new Ernest Co aprons. These are like made of a heavy duty rugged material. Make sure you keep your Speed Academy gear clean. And what I really like about them is they've got a ton of little pockets and whatnot. So when you're putting bolts, when I was collecting bolts, I was just putting them in here and then bagging them afterwards. So they're super handy for that. They also have a spot for your cell phone. Look at that. Make sure you're always staying connected to those Speed Academy updates. So we actually do have a discount code for you for these, which will be in the description. It's 15% off. And this is a new company. It's from New Zealand. So if you're looking for something to wear while you're working, I think this is a great alternative. Well, we've hit a bit of a snag here, and so far everything has been somewhat okay. It's just taken a lot of time to remove stuff. The exhaust was a bit of a PITA, the drive shaft was another PITA, and we've run into a problem here with the power wire. So the positive terminal wire is a one-piece wire that runs from the trunk all the way up to the front here and then snakes up to the alternator and then runs up to a power terminal on top of the valve cover area. And we can't seem to get to the bolt on the back side of the alternator to take that off. And it's just been like a nightmare. So we figured we would remove the remote oil filter lines off there because it would give us a little bit of room. Of course, those don't want to come off. So now we're looking at having to just remove the alternator itself to give us a little bit more room. But we can't get this off without taking the fan off, and we need a special tool. Moose has that. Anyways, it is 6 o'clock now, so it's late. We're gonna wrap this one up right here for the day, and hopefully Moose will bring us a tool for this
tomorrow.
It's a new day. I'm feeling refreshed and confident that we are gonna yank this motor out today. Of course, we have the tool that we need from Moose, and this is going to allow me to take this fan off quite easily. So this goes on here, and then now I can hold the pulley or the bolts on the pulley as such, and I should be able to crack this loose here. Oh, there it goes. Woo! So we finally have the alternator out. Man, what a struggle that was as well. Had to pull a couple of other pulleys out of here, but this is now out. And I'm gonna use my Milwaukee right angle impact for this job, because I know that right now this is loose, so it's gonna be really difficult to get in here with an actual wrench and try to crack this loose. But with this thing, since this is a breakaway impact tool, works so well, and it's just so compact, guys. Like this is quickly becoming one of my new favorite tools, because I can just come in here. You can see it, it's so tight. I try to get anything in here, but I'll get this on here. Oh. Just spin it a bit. There we go. It's on. That should be able to, look at that, and it's off. Oh, thank you, Milwaukee, for making this tool, because I feel like this would have certainly been a struggle. So now let's see. Let's pull this alternator off, and let's look at this power wire. There it is. that runs from front to back. Now finally I can take this, snake it out of the way, and we should be ready to drop all this. Victory! There it is, guys. Wow. Man, it is a beast of a motor, DP.
Yeah, it's burly.
This thing is huge, and just look at this intake plenum. Like, my God, this thing is just so huge. We're gonna have to open this up. I think the next few things that what we're gonna do is just check on, you know, pull the spark plugs, see what they look like. You know, I don't know, maybe we'll take the gearbox off to check that clutch that I probably, or the clutch that I glazed over. And we've got some peculiar leak in the transmission area here. I mean, it's all up in this area. I'm thinking maybe the breather, it was overfilled and it was just like dumping fluid out that way. But otherwise, I can see there's a bolt missing back here on this bracket, which means either this engine has been out or somebody was like servicing it back here. So I figure it's probably been out. But you can see just along the valve covers, like it's all super, super wet here. So those certainly need to be done.
Just pulling these coil packs out, and oh my God, did the Germans like to over-engineer things or what? Like, it's got this little sub harness with a ground wire.
Yeah.
These connectors are insane looking. Like, you think about how simple and clean the Japanese coil pack setups are. It's just like squeeze two sides and pull it off. Where
So you're saying your Lexus doesn't have coil pack issues?
I don't think so. It's a Toyota. It probably runs perfectly reliably all the time. We'll find out when we change the spark plugs in my LS. But this is just nuts. Like, you have to take this off to get at the nut under here. It's all just fighting me. You can see how it's got this metal clip here and a plastic pin, and I guess I just have to push it off that plastic pin.
Yeah,
like
push
that.
it up.
And then this should come out. So, I mean, it's not that complicated. It just visually looks complex. Spark plug. Oh, my thing is really wet.
Well,
What is going on here?
We didn't run this motor much.
You ran it pretty hard at the track, but
Yeah, but it sat here.
I guess, but that's a lot of oil on there. Anyway, not my problem. This looks like a rather old spark plug. It is the BMW NGK R5, it says on there. But look at how like rusted it is around the base.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are either really old or some weather got in there, but it's sealed off so well.
Next on the hit list, I'm gonna pull the valve covers because I just wanna see the condition of what it looks like underneath there, and we're gonna have to replace those gaskets anyways, which means we do have to take this whole plenum off. But DP, would you look at this?
Woo.
Is this just not the coolest thing you've seen?
It's like Medusa's hair in there. Holy cow.
It's insane, man. It's absolutely insane. Like all these trumpets tuned to length. Super, super cool. we have it, valve covers off, and it's a little grimy in there, but looking at other photos of these engines, it seems like par for the course. Just seems like if you're running synthetic, a lot of guys are running it longer, and if you know, this was a 5,000-6,000 mile oil change versus the 10 or whatever people go on, you wouldn't see this type of grime. But more importantly, what I really wanted to do was pull the Vanos off the front here to see if the O-rings have been done, and it's really difficult to tell whether these have been done or not. However, looking at them, they do feel, when I touch it, they do feel soft, which is nice. So they're not like super hard and cracked. And usually if you can like look at them from a profile, the ones I remember doing on the S54, they were just like flat. And these ones actually still have a curved shape to them. So it looks like they have been done. To further check that out, I pulled one of the cap covers off and pulled the O-ring off of there to see how like malleable it is. And you can see like this O-ring is not breaking, is not flexing, is not doing anything, or is not cracking. It's not brittle. So I'm again, it's hard to know 100% whether these have been done, but judging by these two items, I'm pretty confident that the Vanos has been done. So that means I'm not going to touch it. I don't feel like it's worthwhile going into unless it needs to be serviced, and this definitely does not look like it needs to be serviced. I forgot how easy the crank pulley comes off on the BMWs. Look at that. 4 big bolts. This isn't a 2J where you're going to be like having to get a pry tool and all that jazz. It's just, look at this.
Talk the 2J, TT.
Whoa, just
look at that.
Wiggles off, and oh,
that is a mess.
That does look like we certainly have a leaking seal.
Wow.
It's got to be the leaking seal, right? Like I can't imagine it's coming off of the pump and spraying up here.
Or the pan, but
yeah. It's just weird how it's like up here. There's this line, this oil line. There we go. Okay. Wow. So easy.
Yeah.
Man. All right. 1, 2. Oh, it's a heavy beast of a gearbox.
Almost blew your leg out.
Oh. Sounds like a roller skate, DP.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great, does it?
No. Our throw bearing is certainly a sign that this clutch hasn't been changed in a while. So let's pull this thing off here and have a look. Oh, it's on the little
dowels.
Damn it, those dowels, they got me.
Yeah.
Pry bar to the rescue. There we go. All right. So let's pull this thing off. And let's have a look here. Yes, it is worn. Look at that. Very worn clutch. I mean, it looks like it still has a decent amount of material, but you can see the burning that has happened here. Same on the pressure plate here, like all these little hot spots. So this clutch is donezo. Thankfully, I do have a replacement from spec, which is gonna have more capacity, but still be very street friendly. So we'll show you that in another episode. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to post in the comments if there's anything that I missed on this engine. Should we be checking other stuff? Should we be doing the rod bearings? Is that Blackstone stuff not going to give us any real results? Let us know. So thanks again, guys. We will see you in the next one.